All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. I am so excited about what we're talking about today because I have the honor of interviewing 7 of my different students who have taken my Profitable Creator program and have gotten amazing results. And they're just total superstars. And I'm excited to bring them to you, both to introduce you to them and their work and the amazing things that they do in the world, and also to answer any questions that you have about the Profitable Creator, to show you what's possible when you take this program so that you can see what you could create too. So I'm going to be bringing on a bunch of my students over the next couple of hours. So we're going to have a little party. We're going to be here together for a little while. And I'm going to be here to answer your questions, and they are going to be answering my questions about their experience inside of the program, where they were at before they joined, where they're at now, what they've been able to create. And I think you're going to be really inspired. And if at any point you are interested in joining the Profitable Creator program, then you can just visit theprofitablecreator.com. Awesome. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let me just make sure that the description is popping up here. Let me add the correct description. All right, my friends, I think we're good to go. Sorry about that. It looked like it was pulling the wrong description, but we're back in business. Hello. Awesome. And really quick to answer your question, Lisa, do we cover evergreen funnels in the course? If you pay in full, there is an extra bonus that does talk all about evergreen funnels and gives you some prototypes for funnels that you can use. So yes, that does use evergreen funnels, but that's if you pay in full, Profitable Creator. Okay, cool. Well, we are rocking and ready to go. And I'm going to invite on my first student. Her name is Ella. I'll let her tell her story, but she creates courses in the filmmaking niche, and she's got a really inspiring story. So I'm excited to have Ella come on. Hello.
Hi, hello.
So good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So cool to use a Facebook Live where you bring in guests. It's
Yeah, we've never done this before, but I'm excited about it.
very creative. Thank you for
Yeah.
pioneering us yet again. I'm going to look
Aw.
forward to copying you here.
Oh, thank you. Well, I know we don't have a lot of time together for this little interview, but I would love if you could just briefly tell us, what do you do? What kind of courses do you create?
So I'm a screenwriter and a filmmaker, and I've been teaching screenwriters and filmmakers for many years, but I did it in person in New York City. And students have begged me to get online for years, and I didn't because I didn't know how to. I didn't think it'd be possible. It just seemed like too big a stretch. But you tempted me, and I could hold out no longer. And I'm very grateful for it. Yeah, everything's changed since I made that switch.
That's exciting. Tell me more about that change. Like, what was it like before you joined the program, and then what you're doing now?
Okay. The crass answer is cha-ching. like, like quadrupling my income is pretty
Wow.
sweet. I can just reach so many more people. I have students in other countries, even in other states, and also people's lives are complicated. And so when I taught in person, you had to live in New York City and be available at that particular weekend, and now anyone can study with me anytime.
Mm.
So it's a win-win. I mean, certainly financially on my part, and in terms of who I can serve and how.
Right. And do you feel like with this whole coronavirus thing that's going on, do you feel more secure in what you're doing now versus teaching the in-person workshops?
It's funny. Everybody's saying to me now, like, you predicted this. How did you know this was coming? And I think I didn't predict this. I was fortunate enough to cross your path and take your course, frankly, is what happened.
Mm,
So, yeah, I mean, it's, it's the direction we've been moving for a while. And what can I say? Um, I don't know how to answer it beyond that.
yeah,
I mean, certainly now more and more people are wanting to figure out how to teach online, and, you know,
right,
it's an
right.
amazing tool.
Well, it seems like it worked out well for you. And I know that before you joined the program, you got like sticker shock when you looked at the price and you're like, nope. Tell me more about your hesitations or
Yeah,
going to the
I made a solemn oath. I saw the price and I
solemn
said,
oath.
Ella, no matter how tempted you are, make me a promise you are not enrolling in this course. Like, no way, no how. And I kept getting your emails, and I loved everything that came in preparation for it, some free trainings that you did. So I was totally in love, but yeah, I was like, no way. And then um, I was lucky enough. I happened to hang out with my dad like the last day the course was available, and I chatted with him about it. And he's like, don't be stingy with yourself. This is what you want to do. This is your career. This is your work. Like, invest in yourself, take yourself seriously. After that conversation, I still insisted I wasn't going to do it. And then I got like few hours left email, and I took the plunge. And I'm so glad I did. And I'm very grateful to my dad that he encouraged me.
That is so cool. Sometimes it just takes like someone who knows us really well to be like, just show us what we're not seeing. Just push us a little bit. I love that. Does your dad know how much success you've had since making that choice?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yes, my parents
Like, I
get
told you so.
constant My parents get constant texts because they're the only ones that I feel comfortable enough. Them and my husband are the ones who know the details. Like, I just made this many sales.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Mm, that's so cool. I'm so happy for you. And I want to know too, from the program, what were the strategies that stood out to you that you feel like have gotten you the best results?
Um, well, knowing how to make people aware of what it is that I can offer without having to enroll in anything paid. So, like, I do not hold back at all in offering freely what I can to cold audiences, people who don't know me, and to my current subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't hold back in how much I offer, and they they know that if they sign up for something I'm doing, they're going to get so much out of it.
Mm.
So that's one thing I learned, one of the many things I learned. The other thing I learned is how to not hang back and selling myself. Like, I'm
Mm.
not apologetic about it anymore. I'm like, this course, like, if you want to be a screenwriter, you have to take this course. And I really think it's true. I mean, if I'd gotten to take my course when I needed it, oh my God, it would have made such a difference. So I'm just unabashed at this point, and the course helped me do that in terms of like my mindset, and also just strategically like how to go about it, how to um, put the course in front of people enough times and in enough ways with enough variety to really make sure that anyone who could use my course doesn't miss out because they don't know the value of it.
Right. Right. It feels like you gain this confidence in what you teach too. You're like, I know it's amazing and I'm not going to feel ashamed for promoting it anymore.
Yeah, that I came in with, I was fortunate because I had been teaching for a bunch of years. So, the course, that was in place. The course helped me communicate that, like not hold back in communicating it. But there are sections in that course that I would watch over and over, like every launch. I'm like, okay, time to review this part. And I enrolled in the course 2 years ago, and I still, I mean, first of all, you keep updating it. I honestly, I didn't want to sign up because of the price tag, and now I feel guilty for how much I got out of it. I feel like you really should charge me more because you keep updating it and adding new things, and it's like, oh, now there's like a thing about ads, and now you're adding, a whole thing about YouTube and podcasts, and I'm like, I feel guilty for only having been charged what you charged. Yeah.
Well,
Every
that's
time you send
good.
another update, I feel guilty about it. I've
You
just
feel
got a
guilty.
ridiculous amount out of this course.
That's so sweet. Oh, yeah. Well, I love stories like yours where people just feel like they've got what they need and they can go and create something amazing with it. So I love that you feel that way, minus the guilt, but I'm glad that you feel like you've gotten more than your money's worth. That's amazing. And tell me about, if you're willing, some of the launch results that you've had, because I know you've launched your courses a few times now. So I'd love to hear about that.
It's a little bit of a blur at this point. The first launch, I made $17,000, which blew my mind because that
And
at the time,
oh, go ahead.
no, at the time that was like half a year's salary for me. I mean, I just like I looked at the sales and I was like, what is happening? Like in 2 weeks, I made a half a year's income. So
Mm.
it blew my mind. That was the first launch.
And did
Uh,
you have an email list before launching this course? Like before going through the Profitable Creator, did you have an online community?
I had a list of about 2,500 to 3,000 people, depending on the month, and but they were not engaged. They had been like so oversold too.
Mm.
So I did use tactics in the course to build the list. Although mostly I focused on creating the courses, just what you got to do, at first, and depending. But yeah, now I have a list of 13,000
Nice.
people who are much more engaged. And at
Mm.
this point, 2 years later, I've made $175,000 in sales. And yeah, recently automated the sale of a course. And the first month that it was automated, I made $20,000 that month.
Wow.
And I was like, what is happening? So I'm telling you, I feel guilty for what I paid
That's
for this
so I
course.
love that you're saying that, because that's what I like to communicate to people is like we look at the price tag of anything and we're like, that seems like a lot of money. But then when we think about what are you going to be able to create with that beyond that price, like you've got an almost 200x return on your investment, and
In
you're still
two
going,
years. In
right?
2 years.
And
I just started, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. You just started. Like you got so much more that you're going to create. And it just, I like to think of value in those terms of not like, let's look at the price tag and just take it apart. It's like, what will I be able to create after making that investment, not in just my business, but in myself too? I think it's like creating that investment in yourself.
I mean, I have a close friend who's still paying monthly student loans on the business degree. And I hate to say it, but I feel like I know more than she does about how to actually create a profitable business.
Mm.
Like, I didn't go to business school, but just taking your course, I got all the foundational things that I need to offer what I can offer.
I hear that from people who create online businesses a lot, where their friends who got an MBA feel kind of out of the loop in terms of how to create and just like create a business versus create the like theory around building a business. I'm sure getting an MBA is helpful too, but I think the experience of just doing it is the most valuable thing you can have. Yeah.
It's
So,
also, I think business schools haven't caught up to what the internet can do. And so you're like ahead of the curve.
right.
And, you were asking earlier about like teaching online and all of that. I was thinking recently, like, the printing press changed civilization in that it democratized education. Like so millions more could be students than there used to be before the printing press. But the internet democratized being a teacher.
Mm.
Like anyone can, every person has something to teach, has a lot to teach, and has a group of people that only they could reach, that other people couldn't reach. Like my husband repairs guitars, and he speaks to repair guys like I could never reach those guys. You know, these are like guys who work with their hands and swear a lot, and like they can hear anything from my husband. You know, so I think every person is a teacher, and the tools of the internet and the systems that you present in this course just opens the gates to anyone to be a community leader.
Yes, I love that. Anyone can be a community leader. I'm so with you on that. So, last question before we jump to our next guest. What is now possible for you now that you have an online course business?
Well, I started it because I'm primarily a filmmaker, not a teacher. And so I had to decide, like, am I going to be a filmmaker or am I going to be teaching the rest of my life? And I love teaching, but filmmaking is, has been the plan all along and should be. And I'm an amazing filmmaker, and that's what I should be doing. So the business is going to make it possible for me to I'm building the kind of business that I can walk away from so that I can be focused on my films.
Right.
Yeah.
Giving you more of the freedom to do other stuff that matters to you. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Ella. I just
Thank you.
appreciate your time, your experience. Everything you've created is so inspiring.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for the course.
You're welcome. I might have to send you another invoice for it at this point.
For real.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Wasn't she so inspiring? I just love her story of what she's been able to create in the world. Okay, well, I'm going to invite on my next guest, Manu. Let's see. I think she's here. There we go.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
How's it going?
Good.
Doing great.
I love your wall.
Oh, thanks.
So cute.
Thank you. Happy office in here.
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
I haven't been in my office in like 2 months now at this point.
oh, I know. Where are you based out of?
I'm in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Is it still pretty strict over there in Atlanta?
No, it's ridiculous. It was like our governor just opened up tattoo parlors and bowling alley. It's a
Oh,
joke.
wow. Oh,
It's
no.
He is a joke everywhere. It's horrible. But I mean, at least the people I know have been pretty good about staying in.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we'll talk about some exciting and fun things in this.
Yeah, definitely shifted to the good part, but I'm super excited. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I mean, what you've been able to create and just your brand. I love how colorful it is, how
Thank
personable.
you. I'm having fun with it for sure.
I love what you create. So for anyone who doesn't know your brand, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what you create courses on?
Yeah. So my brand is Your Social Team, and it's my one girl business and that I had for 3 years now. And it started as an agency for social media. I wanted to do social media like an owner. That was my thing, not like an agency. But I easily shift into training. And I actually, when I first heard about you and your course, I was just doing in-person training for business and entrepreneurs. And then after that, it's when I was pregnant and I shift my business, like now it's 90% online.
Wow. Because I remember when I first came across your work, you were doing a lot of in-person workshops. And now it's almost all online courses and online services.
Yeah, I mean, not right now, I don't have anything in person, but I still have like, I have an office that is a classroom basically. So I have a space to have people, I have members, I have a membership too. So I do a lot of still one-on-one and see people, and corporate training one-on-one as well. But the courses and the membership, like my business is, I would say 90% online, and you had a lot to do with it. So I'm very thankful for that.
That's so great. And why, back when you joined the Profitable Creator, why did you want to join? What was your reasoning?
Yeah, so it was very interesting. Like sometimes things happen for a reason, and I actually had seen your name popping around, but I wasn't in that world yet. So you guys reached out to me about social media on one point, and we talked, and then I started looking into your business, and I'm like, that's exactly what I need. So I joined. The Profitable Creator, which I love the name, by the way. I was never a blogger, so it makes total sense because the course was completely for me before.
Right.
And when I joined the course, it was really at that point I was pregnant. I was maybe like 2 months pregnant at the point I joined. And I was like, I need, as a business of one, to take time off, which that was my reason back then. But I think we all reach that reason some point in life, right? Because we don't want to be exhausted all the time. We don't want to be always on, and we need to have a plan to disconnect.
Exactly.
So that's when that came about, and I was ready to do my first online course. And I took your course, and everything I was planning on doing before, I realized I did not need.
Oh, interesting. What were you planning on doing before?
So one example is I was budgeting and planning, and I had budget for $2,000 worth of videographer. And I took your course, which was like half of that, and I didn't pay for any of that. So I made my money back. Like I had a, like the 100% money back, 200% money back right away. So that was pretty good.
Nice. Well, that's a good ROI right off the bat.
Totally.
And what about the course made you feel like you didn't need to work with a videographer and pay that fee?
Because I started watching your course, and I saw you were talking about how you can either have your face on there, or you have slides, or you can have both, and when to have which. And I'm like, the slides is what I use on my in-person courses. And people need a visual too, because I can talk to them, but they need to see something. They need to see bullets, and they need to see graphics. So at that point, I actually decided to go on a route that I've done a little short sales video, but I have not done any video inside the program.
I love that.
I kind of want to add intro videos. I think that'll be good. But I started without it, and it did just fine.
Right. Yeah. I did the same thing where I started with just slides and then added some intro videos later. But I love that, because I think when we go into creating an online course, we're like, I got to get a Canon Mark, whatever, the really expensive camera, hire a videographer, make it really complicated. And it's like, you can actually get a microphone lights and record your slides, and that's pretty much it. Like, it doesn't have to be this complicated thing.
I honestly think a lot of that, the course gave me a lot of that direction. Like, you don't need all these moving parts. You can start with this. And it aligns with everything else I've done in my business so far. I started with what I had, made things simple. So that really made it that I was able to just get started. And I also love the Facebook group. I joined your course a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And the Facebook group, I am to this day very active in it, both giving and receiving. And it has helped me in so many areas. Like, I'm in my third course now. So the group is incredible. It's like an online ongoing resource that has helped a lot.
What is it about the group that you love? Like the engagement of it?
Yeah, your group is really well engaged, but also your team is incredible. Lucia is amazing, and she's so knowledgeable. And I mean, you're in there too, every now and then, but like whenever you ask something, someone from your team, especially her, I think she's the main admin right of the group, she gives you all you need right away from her own experience and from the team's experience. Like, she's wonderful. And I think that makes a huge difference, because I'm in part of some other groups where you get there, and then after a while, it's just mostly like members speaking to themselves.
Right.
Which is helpful, but it's not that level of helpful.
Right. I get that. Yeah. Lucia is amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to start doing bi-weekly coaching calls in the group.
I saw that. That's incredible.
Yeah. We're going to bring in a mindset coach too, to do calls every couple of weeks. So
awesome. We
just love to pimp out that group. And
it's such a great group.
Yeah, it is. People are creating amazing things in there.
Yeah.
So before you joined the program, did you have any hesitations or fears or anything like that in regards to joining?
No, I mean, we always think about the investment, whether it's worth it or not. And like I said to you, it took me 5 minutes to realize it was, twice as worth it as not taking it, like money-wise right away. But no, I didn't really have that much. And, I also sell training. So I know the value of training, and I know it's only like how you shift your head, because it's like, oh, this is $1,000 course or $2,000, whatever, you're looking, some people look at that in $100 course too, and they're like, oh, am I going to pay that this much? But it's like, really, how much do you have to sell to make that back?
Right. Oh,
Like
exactly.
5 of your first course,
Yeah.
so it's not the decision making for me was not a big part of it. And I was already decided that I wanted to do it, but it definitely removed a lot of it, just positioned myself to do a first successful launch,
Mm.
as opposed to do a bad first launch by myself, trying to figure things out and then waste all that time and money I could have made.
Mm.
I think my first launch was like a 10K launch, which I was very happy about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your launch that you've had since then. That sounds
So
fun.
I met someone inside of your group who's my project manager until today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Project manager.
Yeah. Sorry?
Who is your project manager?
Melody De Croce.
Oh yeah, I see her
Yeah.
all the time.
She's
She's awesome.
wonderful. So I actually seeing your another good thing that I got from your course is that I looked at it. I'm a solopreneur. I don't have a team. So looking at it, I was very able to clearly see what parts I should be doing and what parts I need help with.
Mm.
And I am very good. I mean, I've been teaching forever, for years. And I knew very much the content, what I wanted to create, how to create the presentation, the visuals, the marketing. I just didn't know the tools. I was not very good at assigning tasks to myself and seeing the whole picture. And that's where Melody comes in, and she's incredible with all that. And hiring her in the first launch already, like, made it that, knowing what I knew from your course and some parts on your course, to be honest, I was like, this is going to be Melody's part. I'm not even going to look into it too deeply. So I focus a lot more in the areas that I knew I needed to benefit from, like the modules and the programming, how to do your webinar and things like that, and let the tasks and other things that I knew I did not want to get into, the tools with Mel. And that was like a total winner thing. Like, we've done our 4th launch together just now.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. How have your launches been growing each time that you've been doing them?
They sort of, because the first one did really well. The second one, I knew it was not going to do well because I launched like 2 months after the first one. So I didn't have enough time for people to even take my first course and then go to the second.
Right.
By the way, I have not done ads yet on these
I
launches.
love that.
So that's another area that I don't know how to do yet. And I'm so good at the organic part, so I'm focusing on that, growing my list, but I have not done ads. So my second launch wasn't that great because I was 8.5 months pregnant when I finished the course.
Oh my gosh.
And I told Melody, I'm like, I'm going to try to record it. I don't know if it's going to happen. So that was kind of a bonus launch, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Evergreen did well. And I also added that course. I had an opportunity to add it to a bundle, and it became very profitable because of that. So, with affiliates and participation on the bundle, it did really well. So it's totally a win. I would say my 3 courses are pretty good. And the third one I launched during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, sorry. The third one did really well. I relaunched the third one just now.
Nice.
I just closed cart last week. And it was still a 10K launch during a pandemic. So I'm going to count that as a huge success.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Ella right before you about how creating courses has added a lot of freedom and security to her life, because her work was actually kind of similar to yours. She's doing in-person workshops, and now she has these online programs. So in a time of COVID, she has a lot more security, just like you. So I love that.
Yeah, I had my best month in business so far.
Wow. That's amazing. During a pandemic. No big deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's some moving pieces. Of course, I had a launch, so that makes sense. Right. Only half of my launch fell in last month, but April was my best month in business so far.
Wow.
And a lot of that is because being online.
Right. I think,
it's all about being online, because if I was just doing in person, I would be having my worst month.
That's such a good point. Right. Yeah. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah, I know.
It seems like a lot of things have become possible for you. Like, you've done the bundle, you've experimented with dishes, you've had a baby in the middle of doing all these different launches, you've hired people. What would you say is possible for you and your business now that you are creating online courses?
Oh gosh, yes. Like it's possible to stay in business right now, which is the first thing, take time off. I actually took time off for the first time, like really took time off this January. I went home to Brazil where my family lives with my kids and my husband. We went to the beach and I literally planned out my posts, planned out my newsletters, and called it a day. Like I did not do anything. I did a little bit to my members because I have a membership. But other than that, everything was planned out and I disconnected completely.
Mm.
Actually, my Instagram story views went all the way down and I didn't care because I wasn't really putting anything there. That's the only thing you actually need to put at the time still, So I'm like, it's fine. So I was actually pretty proud of that because it means that I really did take the time to disconnect. So that was my biggest hurdle as a business owner, was like feeling that I could never disconnect for more than a day.
How long did you go to Brazil for?
Oh, like almost a month.
Wow. Oh, I love that. You
Yeah.
took a month.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I felt the same way in my business previously. It was like I hadn't taken a vacation in like 2 years. And then once the online courses were flowing, it was like, whoa, I can actually travel again and just have a life. And yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Well, you're amazing.
Thank you so
so
much.
much for being here, sharing your story. So inspiring. I know people are commenting about how inspiring you are. So I appreciate
it. Thanks. I'm so glad. Thank you for having me. And thank you so much for all you do for us.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, I love all these people. Everyone's so amazing. All right. Well, I am going to bring on my next student who I'm going to chat with. Let's see if we got any questions that need to be responded to. Okay, I think we're good. We have somebody who said they were born in Brazil too. I love it. Okay. Hello, Amelia. I think you're muted. There we go.
Always muted, always forget. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great day chatting with everybody. It's
Good.
So much fun. How are you?
Also great. It's a little rainy here. I'm in Toronto, Canada. Okay. So today we're raining. Yesterday was really super sunny. It's calling for snow on Saturday. So we're just going with it.
The weather's just like, sorry, we're on vacation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I know we don't have a lot of time together, so I would love if you could tell everybody what you do and what you create courses on.
Sure. Well, my name is Amelia Fracci, and I'm the founder of a company called Launch It by Simply Elaborate, and we work with people who want to create websites with WordPress, so specifically WordPress. So that's our niche. And then we have custom packages, and we also do primarily now moving towards the DIY group live program, so people can create their own WordPress websites, which has been really exciting and transformative for the business and stuff. So, and for the people, like really, which is just, it's exciting, like to just see the ownership of, hey, I did this myself. Like it's really lights me up because I see people get lit up, and yeah, so.
That's really exciting. So were you previously creating all of the websites for people?
Yeah. So either I was doing it, and then I grew we have a small team, and we like created our own WordPress theme to use. And so we were doing it all. The design, the development, we would do training so that they would be able to do it themselves, update themselves. But the training was specific to their site. We would always do little things that made it unique. But I really wanted them to take more ownership because I was finding that people were still afraid to like then take action with their website. So it's like they would spend all this money, and we develop that and produce like a perfect website, but then it wouldn't get updated, and it wouldn't get they wouldn't blog, as we all know. I think we all know that the blogging is very important. And so that was like, it was creating an environment for me that I wasn't liking, because I was like, I felt that they were holding themselves back. And they would email us for help and support. And this was not tech stuff. It was like, I'd like to change this one thing. How do I do it? And of course I would tell them how to do it. But I was just noticing, I was like, you should know how to do this. So I would start making blogs every time I got asked a question, so that I could, just send them to the blog after. But I was also noticing that it didn't matter. Like, it was like, they wanted the handholding. So that's kind of like one of the reasons why I really felt like the DIY course was necessary. And it was the fear. It was to get rid of the fear of like, just knowing that they could do it. Right.
Seems like you were wanting to empower them to own their presence and their website and all the things that they're creating, instead of them always being like, can you do it for me?
Exactly. And it's really like, for me, like, I think a lot of it too is like mindset, because when I started my business, I've been doing it professionally for 12 years. So I just kind of 12 years ago was very like, it should only be me. I know design, like, there's all these things. This is my experience. This is my expertise. And it was a mindset shift, because I was kind of like, well, but I don't want to be a maintenance company. And that's what was turning into, because they needed help after. And I'm like, oh wait, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to have these tiny projects. And I definitely saw that as being where it was going.
And you're speaking to, yeah. I feel what you're saying, I feel like you're speaking to the way a lot of people who have service-based companies feel, is like, there's the thing that they really love doing, but then they have to deal with a bunch of clients. And then there's all these other little things that they have to do that they're like, I didn't really sign up for this, but I feel like I have to do it. I was a web designer before too. And I very much felt the same way of like, after quitting my day job, I suddenly had 10 bosses instead of one. I was like, am I running my own business, or do I have a bunch of bosses who are telling me what to do? So it's really interesting.
Yeah. And I never thought I would be in the position I am now, because I don't want to say I hated the thought of the course, but I really was like, no, you should know what you're doing. And the only way you know what you're doing is if you work with the clients all the time. And now I just know that that's not true. Like, and it's really neat and interesting to see that transition, because it was my own fear. So it's like the thing that I'm trying to empower people to do and to be in their own businesses, I was really doing as well. And I mean, one of the first things too was I was creating this network, and I was creating people. They were coming, they wanted help, they wanted a website, and our prices were too high. And so I was like, also felt bad. I'm like, I want to give them something. And that's where the course kind of came from. So the idea was, you start with the course, and then in 2 years, when you're making more money and you need the custom and the beautiful, like everything, then you could come to us. And that was originally my idea for it, because I'm like a helper and I never wanted to turn people away. And I wanted to find a way to do it without killing myself, and then also being able to feed myself. And that was one of the reasons that I first bought the Profitable Creator. But it wasn't like, it was like, I think it must have been one of your first runs, because it was, I think I had followed you because you were a designer. And I think you were transitioning, because you had a VIP part of it, which is funny now because you're adding the coaching.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's come back kind of thing. Because I feel like that's what it was, the VIP coaching.
Yeah.
It's like the big thing. So that's really awesome. But it's
now we're just adding it in for free. And we're like,
just get it.
Coaching, so just take it. Let's just hang out every couple of weeks together. Yeah. And what you're speaking to is a great point too, because what a lot of people forget as well is that not everyone is ready for a service. They're not ready to work with you one-on-one. A, because it's probably more expensive. B, because you don't have time to work with every single person. There's all these reasons. And so having this ascension model of the people who are the most beginner can take a course or buy an ebook or something, and then they go up the ladder of more and more exclusivity. and generally a higher cost too. So it's brilliant the way that you've designed your business because it
Thanks.
speaks to the places where all those people are hanging out.
Yeah, it's been a long time in the making.
Well, tell me about some of your course launches. How have they gone? What has worked really well for you?
So I'm actually finally in a space where I can say that I've properly launched. And I say that because I've always been like so scared to properly do it. And then I've been working on client projects and I've never been fully in it. And I'd say my mat leave, which I'm still technically on, and had really opened up the space to focus on the business instead of in it. So the ELA program and doing like harnessing, I'm a passionate performer. I did that quiz and I was like, oh yeah, this is not surprising in the least, but I wasn't doing anything with it like prior to that quiz. So those strategies and then the charming collaborator was my subset. That definitely contributed to, I've done 2 launches since signing up for ELA. And then I'm going back between all of the courses that I have. And I'm like, oh, this part was webinars. This part was this. And so it's kind of like I've created this big hybrid of templates and schedules and everything. So right now I'm actually in a launch, my second one. I call it my proper one because I actually like followed the schedule and I've paid attention. So we're still open tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow it's Thursday. Tomorrow's our course cart close and we're at $10,000. I'm at 20 students. I'm really excited because people from all over, and half of them have been within my network. The other half, I'm like, where did you come from? Like, I love it. So, but they all did come from my list, I should say, but they've been recent additions. So that's just been so awesome. And I just have noticed such a significant difference. Every single one of these people, yes, did come from my list. They also attended my live webinar that I did. I bounced ideas off with Lucia in the group, the community group. I was like, I have this idea. What do you think? And we bounced a couple ideas. Originally, it was only going to be 1 live. And I upped it to 4 because I think she said, Melyssa last time did 4 lives. It worked really well. And I was like, okay. I was just like, let's just try 4.
Well,
why not?
Passionate performer too. And if you all don't know what this passionate performer lingo is, it's a quiz that I believe it's at the email list academycourse.com/quiz, or it might be email-list-academycourse.com/quiz, but you can take it and learn your list building personality type. So for you being a passionate performer, doing 4 webinars instead of 1 makes perfect sense. That's
that's definitely been like, I don't think this launch would have been as successful. So it has been nice. Like every time I send 1 email, I've like been like, oh, I've gotten a sale. And then people this week that went to my webinar last week, everyone who was asking questions, if I look at the transcript, have actually signed up for the course, or they're in consult calls with a member of my team about a custom site. Because they are just like, they're deciding, you know what, no, DIY is cool, but so it's actually been really beneficial for both sides of the business. Or we've also turned people, I don't want to say turn them away, but help them realize that the custom situation actually isn't for them. And it's just been another opportunity to connect with them on the phone. They love the support. So I have included like the live group coaching. I took a lot of inspiration from being in ELA because I really enjoyed this group, the coaching calls, which funny enough, I attended too, because I would just like, life happens.
That's all you need. Yeah.
I know.
I'll do 1 and I'll get what I need, and that's worth the money. Yeah.
Yeah. And you actually answered one of my questions about in between live launches, of not giving too much away from my opt-in, because obviously if people are opting in, I'm getting them set up with a website. I don't want them to like get their whole website set up. So by the time I launch my course, they're all set. And you were like, I think this is mindset. Like, I feel like you could do something here. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I've been thinking about that too. And now I'm going to turn this webinar that I've been doing live into an evergreen one. And just, so that's my next task of like figuring out that thing, which I have the assets to do so in the course.
Yes. I love that. And congratulations on the launch too.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. And I'm sure with tomorrow being cart closed too, like you're in for a treat.
Yay, I'm excited.
Yay. Well, I know we're almost out of time, but I'd love to
Mhm.
hear what is possible for you now that you are creating online courses.
Everything. So for me, getting through that mindset was really beautiful. And to have this availability to myself and my family during COVID, being on mat leave, losing my childcare for right now, my husband being home and working more if possible. So I'm doing this whole cart open. I've done this whole launch. I've done the prep in between naps, after baby goes to sleep. Like I basically get it's a good 2.5 to 3 hours a day where I get to work. And that's just a stark difference. Before COVID too, I was just working like 12 hours, 14 hours. Like I was enjoying myself. Like I was like, this is the life. But now like it's crazy. And so like my job now is connecting with people, answering their questions about the course, about WordPress, and it's a phone call. And to me, like that's just opened up so much, because usually when I would make a sale, I'd then have to deliver a website, the training. And now I get to be in Facebook with them and just guide them. And that's just way more freedom-y. That's not a word, but that's what it's done for my business. And I'm just so grateful. And then I'm so happy to see what they're doing in the world as well, which is super awesome.
Like your little babies, taking care of them. You see them grow and create things, and you're the one that inspired and taught them how to do that. That's so fulfilling.
Yeah. It's pretty fulfilling too when you're asking what made you sign up for the course, like their intake quiz, and they're saying Amelia's awesomeness. And I'm like, really? Like, it's also like really just me being me. Like that's what did it. And I'm just like, that's really exciting and really inspiring and motivating to myself for the next one and all the ideas. I can't wait. So
I love that you said that, because I feel like a lot of the times we go into creating courses thinking we need to like be like everyone else. We got to have the same website, you got to dress like them, you have to talk like them, and make your personality like the successful people. And really it's like, just do you, boo. You're gonna resonate with that, are gonna find you and want to be in your course. So thanks for saying that.
No problem. And also I just want to let you know,
website.
I just want to say that my list is actually it's not big. Also, just to say, I only have as of this week 525 people on my list because I pruned.
Good.
So I feel like that's important.
That is important. Thank you for bringing that up. That's so inspiring, because people think like, I need thousands of people on my email list, and really you could do it with a few hundred, and you have $10,000 launch and you haven't finished it yet. So it's incredibly inspiring. Thank you. And what's your website? Someone's asking on Facebook.
It's WordPress website, academycourse.com or simplyelaborate.com. It'll guide you there. Whatever's easier to remember. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amelia. Appreciate you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. I'm feeling so motivated right now. I don't know about you all, but I'm feeling very motivated. Awesome. And I'm seeing your amazing comments too. Thank you for all of your comments and just being here and listening to what everyone has to say about being in this program. I'm going to bring on Aurelia. Aurelia I've interviewed her before, and she has just such an inspiring story about what she's been able to create. So I can't wait to chat with her. Good. I'm hearing people say that it is encouraging to hear everyone's stories. Yes. Hello, Aurelia.
Hi, Melyssa. What's up? How are you?
I'm good. Your volume is a little bit low. Is it possible to turn it up?
Okay, I could sit closer as well.
That could work.
Let me see. Um,
And you're calling in from South Africa, right?
yes, Cape Town.
Cape Town. So cool.
Is it still quite soft, or is
It's
it
sounding
better?
a little bit better. Oh yeah, I think that's sounding better.
Okay, great.
Okay. Awesome. Well, before we get started, I would love if you could tell everybody what you do, what do you teach in your online course? Give us the lowdown on your business.
Cool. So I've got a blog called Philosophy of Yum, and I help flavor obsessed home bakers to become confident and successful home bakery business owners. Yes. So that's what I've been doing for the past, well, I guess my very first tiny, very amateur course launch was in September 2018. I joined The Profitable Creator in 2017, August. Yes.
Okay, cool. So you basically have had your online courses for a year and a half, it sounds like.
Yes, my first like major signature course launch was a year ago, July 2019. Yes.
Okay, cool. So even less than a year ago. That's exciting. Well, tell us about where were you at before with your business? I know you were doing home baking and you had your blog for a few years. And so tell us about the before and then tell us what happened after you joined the program and started implementing.
All right. So, yes, I was baking. And as I was baking for my clients and a whole bunch of coffee shops, I was basically coming across all these extra baking hacks and tips because I was baking the same things thousands of times over again. So I realized, it'd be great to share these things on a blog. So that's what I did. I started sharing some of these baking tips on a blog and a few recipes as well. But I didn't get any traction whatsoever. It was very frustrating because every single week I was putting in all this effort to post something on my blog. And on top of that, learning all kinds of new techie things, which I didn't know anything about, constantly searching things on Google, asking my husband. And then he's just like, Google it. Oh, so frustrating. But then I just had, I had to do this on my own. And I didn't get any my list was not growing. My email list wasn't growing. I knew that I had to have subscribers, but even after I think 2 years of blogging, I still only had 140 email subscribers, and most of them were my friends and family. I remember crying in the kitchen one night, telling my husband, like, I know that the people I need to help are out there somewhere, but I just can't seem to find them. And whatever I'm doing is not working, but I know that it's also what I'm supposed to do at the same time. So I was very conflicted and frustrated, tremendously frustrated in the beginning. And then my husband spoke to my cousin, who spoke to other friends who have dabbled in the whole online course industry, I guess you could call it. And they said, Aurelia needs to create an online course. And I was like, okay. And then I went on Pinterest and I just started searching for blogging tips, actually. And I came across one of your pins. And then it just so happened when I went to your site and I browsed around that your course, The Profitable Creator, back then, to BizHive, was open that exact same week that I happened to stumble upon your site. And it was totally meant to be. And I just knew, I didn't even watch a webinar, Melyssa. I wasn't even in time for one of your webinars. I just knew from going through your sales page that this is exactly the course I need to help me to turn my knowledge into video lessons that people can watch and then they pay for it. And it also opened up the world to an international audience because I'm in South Africa. So if I were to, for example, there's a lot more. The thinking in America is a lot freer, in my opinion. People tend to believe in dreams a bit more. So the idea of creating your own home bakery is a massive dream for home bakers. It's not necessarily something that's realistic or practical, or so they think. So it was a lot easier. I found the Americans a lot more receptive to the idea of starting a home bakery, and people in the UK as well, and Australia. Now, since then, South Africans have come on board as well. It just it's been easier to connect with American home bakers so far.
I love the way that it's opened you up to an international audience, like you said. I actually hear from a lot of people people who live in another country who have taken the course and who are like, well, I don't think people in my country will want to buy a course on this. And it's like, well, that's the point. Like, make a course, because you don't just have to sell to people who are in your local area or your country that you live in. You can sell literally to anyone. And even like, you're an example of that, being part of the Profitable Creator, because I'm based in the US and you're in South Africa, and you discovered the course. And what I love about you too, I just have to say, is that you trusted your intuition when you saw it. It wasn't like, I need to read every single thing Melyssa's ever written. I need to go to every webinar, I need to read every single email. It was like, whoa, this is what I need and feels like a good fit, so I'm going to do it.
It's quite weird because I'm not spontaneous at all. At all. I mean, your course is the first thing I ever bought online. I never buy stuff online because I feel you need to see it in person. You need to try it on. Like, I would never, ever buy jeans or shoes online, ever. Well, since then I have actually. But anyway, so it's very unlike me to just go see something online and buy it. But there was something I think this is actually a very good test. I remember Marie Forleo spoke about this. Like, if you feel scared and nervous, that's fine. If you feel excited, that's the thing that counts. Being scared to start something new and big like this doesn't mean you're not ready. It just means that you're human. That's all.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. And I think when we're doing something big like this, like creating a new business model, putting ourselves out there in a bigger way, like, it would be sort of inhuman to not feel scared. It's just a natural part of being a person. It doesn't mean that you are doing it wrong or that you shouldn't feel that way. It just means that you're a human being. So thank you for saying that.
Cool. Pleasure.
So you started with, I know you had a blog for 2 to 3 years. At that point, you did 100 years. And then you took the Profitable Creator, and then what started shifting for you? Tell us about some of the results that you had after that.
Oh my goodness. From what you teach in the course, I suddenly knew what kind of blog post I was supposed to write, how to figure out what to write about. And that started opening up a whole new world, and just how to use Pinterest to get traffic to your posts. That was massive. And then also understanding how to use Instagram, that also helped a lot to connect with my audience. So what ended up happening is that within 6 months or so, 6 to 9 months, my email list grew to over 1,400 people, which was huge for me because it took me 2 to 3 years to get to 140. So the growth of my email list just started increasing dramatically, and all of it was my ideal audience. That's the big thing. All of them were high quality subscribers. And now my email list is standing on about 6,500, which, you know, I'm happy with. I know that there's still lots that I could do to bring in new leads, but at the moment I'm more focused on nurturing my current leads to make them, more open, and so that they're hot leads essentially, and not just cold people on my list. So I'm focusing a lot on nurturing my email list. So I know there's a lot more I can do, and my email list could have been way bigger by now, but oh well, you know, that's not bigger isn't necessarily always better. So I'm trying to just keep it focused on quality. Otherwise I'm going to go crazy.
Well, I mean, and first of all, 6,500 people, that's like a stadium of people. That's a lot of people, especially in a home bakery niche too. Like I don't know a ton about that niche, but I would assume it's a little bit smaller than like weight loss or something like that. So 6,500, I would think that you are becoming, if not already, a leader in that space of teaching about home bakery startups. I think that's really
no, that's totally happening. And I mean, and this is not cake decorating. This is like delicious, flavor focused home bakers that focus on delicious, honest, down to earth home baking, not cake decorating. There's lots of information for cake decorators. This is super, super, super niche. And somehow, yes. And now I've launched my signature course twice now. I'm doing it again on the 20th of May, which is around the corner. And I'm really starting to become known as like the home bakery person, which is really cool. I didn't think that I would become the go-to or whatever. I get people sharing on Instagram. They'll share on their stories. They'll share like, they've come across this amazing resource. And then it's this person with like, 30,000 followers. And even There's this one baker, Manuela. She's got a very successful YouTube channel, Passion for Baking, and she's got 2 million followers. And out of her own, she gave me a shout out on her stories about, the helpful home bakery resources I have. And I was like, what just happened? That's amazing. So seeing consistency paying off is extremely rewarding, because this is hard work. You need to be sure that you want to do this. You need to have that excitement too, not just the fear and overwhelm. There has to be that excitement as well.
Right.
But then you know that you can put in the work and see it through to the end, because you've got that vision of what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Yes.
And what I think is special about what you're saying is a lot of people go into this online course world thinking that they need to be the leader before the course. I need to have this notoriety in my niche, and I need to be seen as this expert and this leader before I create a course. But it's not the other way around. It's like you create the course and so much comes out of that. You're seen as leader. You get shout outs from people who are like, oh, this person's doing amazing things. You get written up in media publications. Like the course is the stepping stone, not the other stuff that happens before.
Yes, no, that's totally true. You don't have to have it all figured out and be the expert before you can get started. Not true at all. As you keep diving into this field, as you keep building relationships, as you keep helping people, they start talking about you. And as you keep consistently helping people, you start becoming a leader in that field. Yes.
Well said. So tell me about your launches. How have the launches gone? What have some of the results that you've been able to create been?
Okay, I'm just going to give you stats. The first launch, I just basically did it to get something out there because I needed to get some cash flow. So that was a tiny one. And I had 13 students for Bakery Brand Boss. I just basically helped them with branding and photography and social media. But it wasn't, I could have been a lot more prepared, but I realized I'm never going to feel ready. I just need to kind of get something out there to get the ball rolling and make the mistakes I need to, so that I can learn what I need to. Even now, I've become a lot more open to testing new things, testing new approaches, testing new pre-launch and launch approaches to see what works and what doesn't. Every audience is unique, so we need to try different things and see what works. So the first launch was that Bakery Brand Boss in 2018 September, and then my signature course launch was last year July, and then I got 49 students and made just under $20,000, which was obscene. The first course I made $2,700, which was already massive for me. I mean, I'd never made that kind of money, even online. I mean, I used to just think about Google ads on my blog. That was my income from my blog. And that was like, I don't know, $5 a month, which is nothing. And all of a sudden, yes. So 2,700 first course launch. Second one was 19,000 something. And then I launched again in December. My webinar glitched. That was petrifying. It glitched, but then I just had to make it work. I had to practice what I preach to my students, where I tell them about how mistakes aren't the end of the world, failure isn't final. You apologize and you regroup, and then you do the best with what you've got. So I recorded everything on Loom and just shared that as a kind of a replay, and in the end still got $12,000 from that launch, 24 students, extremely grateful, and learned a lot from that. And now another one's coming up in May. And I really feel like I'm going to learn something new every time for at least the first 10 launches, I think. And yes, that's just part of the deal. I've become less afraid of growing and learning and avoiding mistakes. I love James Wedmore said this thing once: if you avoid making mistakes, you're avoiding your own success. And that really changed my perspective tremendously.
I love that. And I love what you were saying about how the launches are just you're going to keep learning and learning and learning. I am still learning. Like we add new stuff to our launch. We've never done something like this before where I'm interviewing different students. So it's like, I think what's so fun about creating and launching courses is you get to always just add a little bit more to each time you open enrollment and each time you talk about your course. And it's just like a constant learning process, which I love.
Yes. Yes.
So
Can I
last thing, yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to quickly share, just I think the most gratifying moment so far from all of this has been now during COVID-19, and my students are crushing it. Melyssa, they're crushing it. And it makes me want to cry. The one home baker is now going to start baking full time because she's a lecturer at a college. And now the college is closed, until further notice. And now she's going to be able to bake full time. She doesn't have that income from her lecturing job anymore. And it's just crazy. That kind of stuff just moves me so much. And there's another baker who's now employed her daughter to help her because she's so busy she can't keep up with all the work. Another one who's making crazy amounts of money, like renovating their house. She's renovated their kitchen, bought gifts and meals for the entire community. It's just obscene what's happened. I never thought that my little life, could impact someone else's. I think that's been a massive surprise.
Wow, I have chills. You're gonna make me cry. You just have such a big heart, and every time I talk to you, I can just feel so much how the work that you do matters to you, and that you get to see the way that you're making an impact in such a meaningful and beautiful way. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Cool, such a
Really warms
pleasure.
my heart. Well, you're amazing.
Thanks.
And go check her out, philosophyofyum.com, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aurelia. I
Cool.
appreciate you.
Thanks, Melyssa. All the best with the launch.
Thank you. Bye.
Cool. Bye.
All right. I'm going to invite on Jenny. She recently launched her first course. I think she's actually relaunching again pretty soon. So I'm excited to hear what she's going to say. Seeing your comments. Hello, Jenny. I don't think your mic is hooked up. Let's see. You might need to select the mic at the bottom. Or maybe try saying something. See if that helps. Actually, I'm not seeing your mic hooked up. We'll get it figured out. Jenny has an amazing website where she teaches people about nature and wildlife. And her course, I can't wait to hear her talk about it, but her course, I think it's connecting now.
Got me?
There we go. I'll let you explain it, but I was just going to tell people about the amazing course that you created. I'm excited for the enrollment to open again because I'm personally interested in it. It looks like an amazing course. So tell us what you do and what your course is about.
All right. So I have a website called A Yellowstone Life, and we help people develop deep personal connections with nature. And our online course is very niche. It's eavesdropping on wild conversations, decoding the secret language of animals. And it's all about tuning into nature by paying closer attention to all the subtle communications that are going on between animals around us all the time that people don't actually realize. And so if you're geeky about wildlife, it's totally the course for you. And fortunately, we've been building an audience of people who are geeky about wildlife. So yeah, that's what it is.
And where do you build your audience? What platform do you use to create content?
So we have a blog on A Yellowstone Life, and then we do a lot on Facebook. We do a lot of social sharing because we live here on the north border of Yellowstone National Park, and there's 4 million visitors to Yellowstone, and lots of people that love the park and animals. So we post writing and photography and artwork and tell stories, and then try to recruit people from the Facebook audience onto our email list.
Okay, genius. I love that. I love what you do. I'm just so fascinated, and I love that because a lot of people will come to me or they'll take the course and they'll say, I don't know if anyone's going to buy this because it's so niche, or would anyone be interested in this topic? And you might have created the most unique course that I've seen, and yet it's been a great success. So tell us more about what you were doing before in terms of monetizing your website, And then what's happened now since creating and launching your first course?
Great. So we weren't really, I say I run the business with my husband, George. And so I do all the behind the scenes course creation stuff. And he's actually the on camera person, which is why I'm pretty nervous to be on camera because I don't usually have to do that. But we do programs in the park. So a lot of our connection with people was in person. And we started to build our list pretty slowly that way. And we weren't really selling anything online. My husband's a sculptor, and so he would both teach natural history courses and sell his artwork. But we started to build this audience of people who were into animals, into nature, into Yellowstone, but we didn't have a product to sell. So, we sort of started with the building the audience part, but without any way to capture, that interest into something that actually paid for itself.
Right. So you were selling artwork, and I remember you shared somewhere with us that you were making about $5,000 a year from the artwork sales. Is that right?
Yes, from both in person and our online email newsletter. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so when did you launch your first course, and how did that launch go?
So we launched this March, actually right as the whole pandemic thing was hitting the world. So I think we timed it just about perfectly, unintentionally, but it went so well. I thought, okay, if I have 20 or 25 students, I won't be embarrassed that I went through this whole thing and all this stress of doing the launch and all the work of putting the course together. And we actually had 65 students enroll, and it was about a $19,000 launch for us, which just blew us out of the water. I mean, we're over the moon, couldn't be more excited. It was totally worth it. And now we have this great engaged community of people who are communicating in our Facebook group, and we're communicating with them by email. And it's just, they're all telling stories about animals. It's so much fun.
It must be really fulfilling to see how you're teaching them and then how it's translating for them and what they're sharing from their experiences.
It is, we have people from all over the country and some from other countries as well. And so they're sharing what they see in their environment, in their backyards, and everybody learns from that. And so that's one of the things that's been really fun and rewarding, is this engagement between the students and us, but also between each other, just like the Facebook group for Profitable Creator, which I love and is one of the best things about being in this group, is being able to be in that Facebook group. So thank you.
Ooh, yay. I had someone else that I was talking to earlier today who said the same thing, that it's very
Manu, I think. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. It might have been her or Ella, I forget. But yeah, that is just very engaged. And we have Luthia in there who's answering questions all the time. I'm going to start doing weekly coaching calls too. So
yeah, that's super exciting.
Yeah. So when you decided to join this program, what was your reasoning? Like, you were making money from doing artwork sales, you were growing this community online. Why did you want to join the Profitable Creator?
So we knew we wanted to offer an online course because we had this in-person audience already, and we felt like it could be so much bigger. There were so many more people that could connect with our mission and what we were doing, and we wanted to do an online course because of that and really build the digital audience, but honestly had no idea how to do that. So I really needed a roadmap, exactly what you say. You can find some of this information online, but it'll take you forever and ever. And that was the exact reason why I bought the course, because it was exhausting to me trying to figure out what's the right way to go about this. And before I was brave enough to pay for the full course, I took every single free training video download that I possibly could of yours. And, I really got to understand that how useful the tools were, and I was seeing success with the free tools. And so that really convinced me to take the course, and obviously it paid for itself many times over.
Yeah, and you've only launched it one time, which is the best part. It's like
Yes.
something that you'll continue to. You created it once, and now you get to launch it over and over again, which is amazing.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
students. So from the strategies that you learned in the program, what do you feel like were some of the ones that really moved the needle for you?
Yeah. So two things. I think first and foremost, the course really helped us narrow down our message. You know, it's like Office Space. If anybody's seen that movie, what do you say you
Oh,
do
yeah.
here? You know, and being able to articulate that and create, lead magnets off of that and blog posts and just really hone that message, which translates into everything from how we ultimately wrote our sales page. All the tools in the class really helped me get down to that. And then the other really big thing the course helped me with was just how to go about the pre-launch and the launch, how all the pieces fit together in a way that made sense, that built excitement, that built engagement, and that ultimately led people to purchase the course. And all of those pieces, I mean, I was really skeptical in the beginning because I wasn't used to emailing people a lot. And the idea of sending however many emails over 10 days, was just terrifying to me. And everything along the way just worked like magic. And I just kept telling my husband, George, I'm like, this stuff works, and it was just super helpful to have that map, really. And then to be able to ask people in the Facebook group more about things I didn't understand, other tools that I might have needed, etc.
I appreciate that because I feel like the pre-launch and the launch stuff, there's a lot that goes into it. And when we think about launching a course, sometimes we simplify it and we're like, oh, it's just a few emails. I'll figure out how to do a webinar. But it's like, if you try to figure out how to do all of that stuff on your own, it can be very overwhelming. And that's where I see a lot of people stop. They get to the launch and they're like, I don't want to do this, or I don't know how. So I'm just going to put it off.
Right. And how the different pieces, we did an email challenge, which was super successful, a 5-day email challenge, and then a webinar, and, how to have all those pieces play into the next piece so that, you're carrying people along in their interest so that ultimately they want to buy. And I know for sure I could never have done that as well as we did if I didn't have the course. So.
And you're relaunching it pretty soon, aren't you?
We weren't going to launch until the fall, but essentially, a lot of folks in and around Yellowstone rely on seasonal tourist business. And so we have a lot of friends who are wildlife guides and are really struggling right now because no one's able to come to the park, and lots of people who want to come to the park that can't and are really upset and want to stay connected. So we decided to launch it again with a number of local guides as affiliates. So it's the first time we're trying an affiliate program. So they have something to offer their guests who can't be here. They make some money, we make some money. So hopefully it's a win-win for everybody. And, I don't think we definitely wouldn't have launched so soon from our own list. It hasn't grown enough. So we're sort of leveraging their contacts. So we'll see how it goes. It opens Monday.
That's what's so exciting. I love the way that you're innovating on how you can support other guides and help people to learn about nature, even during a time where they go to national parks. That's brilliant. I love that. So, last thing to ask you before we hop off, I know we don't have that much time, but what do you feel has become possible for you now that you've created an online course business?
It's really two things. One is creating a community of people who are passionate about what we're passionate about. I mean, that on a heart level is so huge, to feel like we're meeting our own personal mission and sharing that with other people. And then the other thing is it helps us be able to create artwork. I'm a photographer and a writer, so we can tell stories through images and art and writing about wildlife, about wildness, about Yellowstone National Park. And for us, that's a pretty big dream. So
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Your story's so inspiring to me. I can't wait to hear how the affiliate launch goes. We have a bonus for that. Do you know that?
No.
Have that bonus? We'll add it to you.
Okay.
Kat, if you're listening, can you add that to Jenny so she can check it out? Yeah, I created a whole thing about how to use affiliates to promote your online course. So there might be some stuff in there that'd be helpful for you.
Oh, that'd be great. I could use it. So, thank you so much.
Have a beautiful
I'm so
day.
glad to be here.
Yay. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. So we've got 2 more people to bring on up. I'm really excited for these last two. They're just two people that I feel do beautiful work in the world, and they have such sweet, genuine souls, just like everyone that I've interviewed today. I think everyone just has such great energy. But I'm going to bring up Allie, who has a website called The Journey Key, and she teaches yoga and mindfulness and just so many beautiful things. So I'm going to bring her on up. She'll be able to tell you more about what she does and the results that she's created, because she's got a really creative, unique story. Hello, Miss Allie.
Hey, Melissa.
How's it going?
It's going really good. How are you?
Good. Where are you at now?
I am off the sailboat because I'm locked out of New Zealand right now.
Oh, is that where you were sailing before?
The boat is in New Zealand. We sailed it there last year across the Pacific Ocean. And she's tucked away in New Zealand, but we were supposed to already be back, but their borders are closed. And so we're in Florida right now, but I'm actually in South Carolina with family for this week.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to have to backtrack at some point to learn more about the sailboat situation.
Yes.
Because I think your story and what you've done just inspires me so much, and who you are in the world and how you show up. So let's rewind. And actually, I'd love to just hear for anyone watching, if you could tell us what you do and what you create programs. I know now you have a membership and you do retreats. So tell us what your whole thing is about.
Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Allie Van Fossen. I am a yoga teacher, international retreat leader, course creator, membership site leader. I also call myself a chakra coach. Some of you might know about the chakra system, some of you might not. I'm a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a wife, and a full-time traveler via a sailboat. And Melissa's course helped my husband and I leave and sail away using my business as the foundation to support us.
Okay, tell me about that, because I remember getting this email from you one day. I think it was like a couple years ago now.
Yeah.
You emailed me and said, like, I just finished my first launch and I want to hear about it. But now we're gonna my husband's gonna quit his job and we're gonna buy a sailboat and go sail around the world. Tell me more.
Yeah, your course, is reflecting on your course and how it's really been the trigger and domino effect for everything else that's happened within my business. It's really like that one solid ingredient that I think every person that's first starting out needs. And that's what it was for me. It gave me the framework and the confidence and the support to create my first course. And from that course, I think I'm on your sales page, like we made almost $70,000 in the 3 weeks that the cart was open. And it proved to myself and my husband, like, wow, we have a viable business here. And we can trust in the business, right? So we sold all of our belongings. We quit our corporate careers. We bought a sailboat. And we've been sailing for 2 years now and living off of our business called The Journey Junkie. Where we teach yoga online through several platforms, YouTube being our main source. And then we filter it through into courses and retreats and a membership site now. And hopefully in the future, yoga teacher business coaching. So your course, though, was like, it was the kick in the butt I needed and the framework. And it was this beautiful, empowering domino effect from that experience.
That's really special that you can trace it back to that being sort of turning point for all of these beautiful things you've been able to create in your life and in the world and all over the world. I love it so much.
Literally.
That's really cool. So when you were thinking about joining the program, what was your rationale? Like, why did you want to join a program like that at the time?
Well, I found you on Pinterest. Go
Seems
figure.
to be a running theme today. Yeah.
And, everything you were saying was making sense. And I was burnt out on blogging. And I was also just getting my feet wet with producing yoga videos on YouTube. And I knew I had a community. I barely had an email list at the time. I think my email list was like 2,000 people. And it was through your course that I learned how to create a community through email, and then how to create solid content that kept people coming back and wanting to connect with me. And wait, what was the original question?
Why did you join the program? What
Okay,
made you
yeah. Yeah, I was pretty lost. Like, I'd been doing it for 2 years, the whole online thing, creating content, blogging, just getting into YouTube. And I didn't really know which direction to take to turn it into a viable business. And because I'd been seeing you on Pinterest and reading your blog posts and downloading your workbooks and all of your lead generation material, I felt really connected to you and like I could trust you. And I felt like this is the woman, this is the creator that's going to help me turn my blog into a business, and, you know, turn my business into a profitable source of income.
I love what you're saying too, because you're really speaking to the fact that the free content that I was putting out is the reason why you joined the paid course. And that's exactly what we talk about in the Profitable Creator too, because I feel like if you're creating an online course, you need to be creating some sort of free content somewhere where people can get a sort of, I think of it as your portfolio, like a glimpse into your teaching style, what you know, what your personality is like. And so that's why it's such a major part of the program. You create such amazing content on your blog and on YouTube. Did you have any hesitations to join, knowing that you were a YouTube creator and the course at the time was called Blog to Biz Hive?
No, because I think I understood that the formula is you need to deliver some type of consistent content, whether it be a blog post. And when I joined YouTube podcasts, when I first started my YouTube channel, podcasts weren't popular yet. But now I think it's very understood as the deliverer, you need to be providing something of consistency. And so, no, I knew like, okay, my YouTube channel and my weekly YouTube videos are the same as a blog post, but they're more effective because my niche is yoga teaching. So there's only so much blogging you can do about yoga before you just need to do the damn thing.
Yeah, right.
Like, it stops translating.
Yeah.
And I had to get over a lot of fear to be on video consistently in the very beginning, but now it's become such a normal thing for me. And, you know, no, I had no hesitations at all, because I knew that it translated to what you were talking about with blogging, and that would be my main source of content that would create that trust and connection with people who would in the future, you know, join my community and pay for my services.
Right. And I'm seeing somebody in the comments saying, I've been following the Journey Junkie for a while now. That must feel good to hear. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, in terms of the strategies that you used from the program, what were some of the ones that you felt like really moved the needle or helped you the most?
The ones that helped me the most were building my email list. And I did that through a lot of free challenges that I hosted on YouTube. So lots of free 7-day or 5-day-esque challenges. And there were always reasons to sign up for the challenge to get it delivered into your inbox. So of course you could view it through YouTube, but there were extra perks. So you gave me all of those ideas to gather emails. And I think from the time I started following you until my first course launch, my email list went from 2,000 to 20,000 in about a year with no paid advertising. And then I launched to 20,000 people. And so it was that piece of it. And then also just how you provide this amazing, solid framework and container, like a step-by-step approach to launching the course, like engaging with your list before the launch in a very natural, organic way, and then hosting some kind of challenge. For me, it's usually a challenge, not a webinar, because I teach yoga. And then how you go into the sales, the season of the sales or the launching of the sales page and everything that went into it. I just felt like I can do this. And it was purely because of what was in the course. And I still go back to it, Melyssa, like, every launch I do, whether it's a new course or my membership site now, I still log back in. I think 3 years later, you guys, for those of you watching, like, I've gotten such a return on my investment now. I still log back in and like double check, okay, is there some way I can improve with this launch? Did Melyssa update this section? is there something I like don't have the pulse on with online marketing. And so I still use it to this day.
I love that. It's like you just keep coming back to your notes in school or something to make sure you're doing it well and improving. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what has become possible for you now that you've shifted to creating online products and courses?
Yeah, I'll be really transparent with you guys that are watching. I used to work in corporate marketing and I made $56,000 a year. And I thought my salary ceiling was that I would never reach six figures. I just wouldn't. In the state I live in and in the market I was working in within marketing, I never in my wildest dreams thought that A, I would work for myself, and B, that I would make more than six figures. And now I've busted through both of those limiting beliefs. And we have a viable online business that supports my husband and I. We travel full time together wherever we want with our sailboat, wherever the wind will take us. And now it's, your podcast has been rebranded to Limitless, but that's how we feel. Like we feel limitless in our opportunities to keep growing and experimenting and expanding the business. And I plan for it to support both of us and our future family when we plan to have children. So it's completely changed our lives, like 100%. So, and I'll say thank you from my husband too.
You're welcome, husband. Before you go, what would you say to anybody who's thinking like they're working in a job where they're making $56,000 a year and they are seeing this ceiling that they're never going to reach and they're feeling like they want to create something online or a course, but they're scared? What would you say to somebody like that who's watching?
I would say, look at everyone else and what everyone else, not look at them in a comparison way through that lens, but through an inspirational lens. I started at nothing, and Melyssa did once too. And through investing in education and being part of communities like these, you're given the tools and the support to believe in yourself. And you definitely need a healthy dose of dedication. And I would say, keep your job that provides a steady income. You're going to have to work hard for the first few years until your business gets off the ground, and you'll work nights and lunch breaks and weekends like I did and like so many others have. And eventually it will happen. It will happen. And there's just no way it can't if you're putting enough effort and dedication and energy into it. And you're investing in resources like Melyssa and her course to guide you and kind of cut through the confusion and messiness. Yeah, that would be, and also that's just it. You've got to cut through the confusion and messiness because there's so much content online that it's overwhelming. And clarity is such a gift. So it would behoove you to invest in clarity. And that's what courses provide. And that's what you gave me. Yeah.
So well said. So inspiring too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're amazing. I just love following your journey and just who you are in the world and how you impact people, and the creativity and the freedom that you infuse into your life is just really remarkable. So thank you for being here, Allie.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Mel. Good luck, everyone. Get the course. Create your business. All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. We've got one more, and we're actually in for a duo. So I'm going to invite up our last guests here, two amazing ladies. Here we go. Hello.
Hi.
Where are you guys calling from today?
We're actually in my hometown, so Parksville, in my small little town on Vancouver Island in Canada. So we're coming to you from the woods.
Ooh, is it in the woods?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds nice. Are you quarantining together?
We're calling it quarantining. Quarantine cabin.
I love that. You both, let's just tell them how you both met, because you were both living nomadically, right? And you were running your own businesses, and then you met when you were traveling. So how'd you guys meet and become business partners?
Yeah, so we actually met in Mexico. So we both booked one-way tickets to Playa del Carmen, which is just south of Cancun. And we were there, we actually booked them like completely separately. Like I'm from Canada, Cass from the States. And it was right after, like a year after graduating university. And we ended up meeting in a coffee shop in Mexico. And, you know, our friendship blossomed from there.
And then you guys decided to create a business together.
We did. Yeah. We had our separate businesses and we like supported each other running those. And then at some point, you know, when we were traveling and running those businesses, you know, we kept getting asked the question, how can I do this as well? And that's when we were like, well, we should teach people how to do it. We're already giving away that advice too. And we love it. We're so passionate about it. And we were already collaborating so much in our individual businesses that it just was a no-brainer to start a business together.
I love that. And just knowing you both in person too, you have such beautiful synergy together as business partners and friends. It's just really cool to see.
Thank you.
So, okay.
Face to face. I love your background, your decoration.
Oh, thank you. This is my little office. It's a very happy place to be. Thank you. And tell us actually about before you guys joined forces and started your business together, what businesses were you running separately?
Yeah, for sure. So I was running like a project management and website design business, and Cassie was running a graphic design studio and website design business as well. So we were running those separately before we combined forces to start our course business.
Awesome. Okay. And then you joined forces, and now what do you do? What do you create courses on? How do you help people to this day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have a company called the Bucket List Bombshells, and our courses teach people a lot of freelancing foundational skills. So things like social media management, website design, email marketing, and then also the freelancing skills they need to start getting clients, pitching their services, setting up their freelancing business all online so that people can break free of their 9-to-5s ultimately.
I love that. And tell me about your courses too.
Yeah. So we have 3 courses. The first is the design skills course. So that teaches graphic design skills, everything from how to use the Adobe Creative Suite, Photoshop, InDesign, how to design Facebook ads and email marketing materials and ebooks. And then we have the tech skills course that teaches more VA skills. So for those of you that aren't familiar with VA, it's like virtual assistant skills. So how to set up like webinars and email marketing funnels for clients, how to manage a WordPress website, a lot of the like tangible skills that people need to work remotely. And then we have a course called the Work Online and Travel the World course, very long name. And that is actually our business course. And so inside of there, we teach people the step-by-step process of how we started our own freelancing businesses. So how we decided to choose the different types of freelancing services, how we packaged our services, how to find clients, how to invoice and set up project management systems. So everything like A to Z from the steps we took to successfully start and then grow our own freelancing businesses so that we could work remotely.
And I love how it's all about being able to work and travel too. Like that, it just makes you both so unique in what you do. And I know it's such a big part of your lives too. Where are you going to be after quarantine?
Oh gosh, we haven't thought about it. I mean, all of our travel plans have been like postponed or canceled, except for one next year. That's it.
Where is that?
We're going to Necker Island actually for
nice.
for a mastermind retreat. And yeah, it's a great only thing to still have on our schedule.
That's awesome. Is that part of the collective?
Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing. I did that last year.
Yeah.
So you're gonna class.
Cool. So we're like, I mean, who knows how long this will last, but 2021 is gonna be lit.
It's gonna be so fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So tell me about before you joined the Profitable Creator, where was your business at? Where were your online courses at? I think you had done a launch or two before joining the program. So tell me about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we joined the program about 4 years ago. I actually joined and then I called Shay into the dark side. But that's when we both had our own businesses, and then we were running Bucket List Bombshells on the side. And so, like you said, we had one first launch of our courses, and we enrolled 12 students, and we thought we were going to enroll thousands, or we had hoped, of course. And so we were actually really disappointed. We weren't able to go full time with Bucket List Bombshells or like with our course business because of that first launch. And so then we had been following you, and we had seen a lot of your emails, or I did at least. And I was telling Shay just before this, I remember I was sitting in the coffee shop in Mexico. All good stories. All of our good stories happen in coffee shops. And I had seen your email, and it was right before you were closing enrollment for the course. And I remember just thinking, like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. Like, now is the perfect time. And so I enrolled, and I actually didn't really actually start taking the course until about 6 months later.
Okay.
So much going on in just like my personal life and our business life. And I remember that being one of the things that was kind of like holding me back from enrolling prior to, is I kept feeling like I had to have it all figured out before I enrolled. So silly. And then once I finally got in there, it was so like everything just fell into place. Like 6 months later, once we were in a place to really like implement the strategies, and since you have lifetime access to your courses, it was like, I was so grateful that we had enrolled at the time that it was open, and it was there and ready for us, and we didn't need to have anything figured out. So pretty much from prior, like what your question was, we had one really unsuccessful launch. And even though we loved our other businesses, we are so passionate about our course business and what we wanted to teach people. And we love teaching. We're good at teaching. But as a lot of people probably know, if you have an amazing course, but nobody knows about it, and you don't have the right sales strategies and email marketing and launches and all of these things in place that you don't learn in university these days, then you're going to struggle to sell your online course. And that was like a big kind of tipping point for us when we did finally get into the Profitable Creator and started implementing your strategies. It was like just an absolute game changer for us within our course business, but then ultimately allowed us to go full time with Bucket List Bombshells.
So exciting. Okay. So you joined the course, you implemented it 6 months later, and you had this unsuccessful launch that you were hoping for different results and didn't happen. And then you launched again after going through the course. And then what was that launch like?
Yeah, that launch was like night and day for us. We actually ended up more than doubling our enrollment and revenue numbers just by implementing your strategy. So a lot of what attributed to that success was from using the Profitable Creators, like the email sequences that you have, the launch structure that you have, the way you do your webinars, when you do your webinars, the launch timing and time frames and different things like that is what really, like, we really just soaked up all that knowledge and we followed it to a T. And I just want to say, like, you are an amazing teacher. Like, we love teaching. And so we really appreciate when we come across someone else, and we take lots of other online courses who you just break things down into like a really easy to understand way, the way you teach it. You don't make anything feel hard or complicated. And you always have like templates for things or blueprints for things, and pretty much like we could take it and apply it. And that is really like, we ended up more than doubling our enrollment for that launch. And that was our turning point when we decided that this was actually a viable full-time path that we could take, because we were so disappointed from that first launch. This was not just a revenue or enrollment turning point. It was like a personal turning point as well in our business career and where we are now. So where we are now is running a multi-million-dollar course business based on continuing to use your foundational strategies in our launches.
That like makes me tear up just to think about. You're both such amazing people, and I love the work that you do. You're such community leaders. I know how community centric you are, and you're really about lifting up people's voices too, and just to see in a few short years where you've taken things and how many people you've helped. How many people are in your community now?
Inside of our student communities, we have over 5,000 students now. From our first launch, we enrolled 12. So to give you some idea.
Right.
And we've been doing it for about 5 to 6 years now. And inside of our larger community, though, because we do have a free Facebook group and we have lots of people in our social media communities that we connect with personally, that's like growing over 70,000 women around the world inside of our total community.
Wow. So inspiring. And so much has happened for you since then too. It's kind of like I've seen the progression, because it was like you did that first launch, and then I know you did a second launch, which was super successful. And then you're part of my mastermind. Last time I did it, you're going to Necker Island, you've got a multi-million business. Like, it just feels like it gets better and better every year that you're running this thing and you're helping. Yeah. Yeah, tell me. Go ahead.
One of the cool things though is like we don't take that much time to step back and think about it, which is really cool. I love that we're having this chat, because you forget all the little pieces and steps. But I think what's so key in that progression is that we have always looked up to people ahead of us, people who are leading in a way we want to be leading, like yourself, people who have successful businesses, people who are like doing the things that we want to be doing. And I think that's one of the most powerful things about courses, and like the fact that we decided to invest in the profitable creator. It's like, if someone is sitting at home right now and that's what they want, like that's the goal that they want, to launch their course for whatever passion it is that they have, all you need is the tools and the resources and the step-by-step process from someone who's come before you, like yourself. And that's what we've really done in order to get us there, just in a smoother way. Of course, there's still ups and downs, but like in a way where you have support and accountability and mentorship from people who have like done things before you. And I think a lot of times, even we hear this with our own courses, people are like, can't you just like Google things or read blog posts? And like, you're not going to get a firsthand step-by-step process. And that's one of the things that we tried to do in our first launch that we learned the hard way, of course. And once we enrolled in the Profitable Creator, it was just like having systems laid out for you and being able to then focus on like creating amazing course content, which is why I think people want to create courses, and knowing that a lot of the other business systems and launch systems and webinars are already there for you to just implement is going to save years and so much time and so much headache. So I feel like that's been one of the things we've done from day one. We love learning. We're just like always trying to soak things in. And I think that's how you get on a faster path to wherever you want to get to, is like learning from those people. And so you were like, you still are, but we're one of the first people that we've like always looked up to, and like being able to follow your process has just like skyrocketed, like you mentioned, our business trajectory completely.
So well said. So many good nuggets in there too, about just like investing in yourself and looking to other people who have done what you want to do, and finding a stem instead of like piecing things together that you find on Google and trying to figure it out. It's like, there could be such an easier way. And you're such a perfect example of that, both of you. What do you feel has become possible for you now that you've created this really successful online course business?
Oh gosh, I feel like the sky is the limit. And it's an interesting, I mean, as we all know, like it's been a really interesting time right now with everything going on. But it's allowed us to kind of take some time to step back and really like appreciate on just such a bigger level the fact that we have a way of bringing in income online. And aside from like, we're so passionate about what we teach, we've been doing this for years now. In this time, we've still been able to like thrive in a global pandemic. We actually had our highest revenue month ever last month in April in like our business history. And that's kind of just like, it's crazy to think that this, like starting way back when 4 years ago, and a little having like an idea for a course could actually lead us to this place. And we're able to support not only ourselves, but our team right now. We've been able to support other female owned businesses, and that's something that's like been so important to us. In the past, prior to this, we've been able to travel full time, like you said, which is like one of our biggest passions and has allowed us to like live a really creative lifestyle. We travel like 24/7, but it's kind of like just part of what we've done, and this course business has given us that possibility. A personal thing for myself, one of our first hires was my mom, and that was like one of my biggest, you know, kind of first steps and achievements that I really wanted to be able to like support her. And so there's just like, there's so many directions that our courses and our communities and the students and the people that we impact have just like allowed us to have infinite possibilities. And I think even now during this time allowed us to come from a place of like possibility, when a lot of people are coming from a place of like fear and scarcity. We're just like, with the internet, like we've always done for the past 6 years, like we can support ourselves, support our team, support our students, our community, lift people up. It's like, it gives you so much power. And yeah, it all started with with enrolling in your course and me kind of clicking that button. I remember like literally seeing the time tick down. I might have even emailed you like afterwards and been like, begged you to let me in. So yeah, that's like, to answer your question, it's just been like infinite possibility and a cool, even though during this time, a really cool place to come from and to be able to like support the students in our community from that place, since the types of skills that we teach are really helpful to people right now online if they've lost a job, for example, and are trying to find freelancing work online. We've been able to support them in that. So it's been cool to support them from that, like the skills perspective, but also from this kind of more like emotional, mental perspective of like, there is possibility if people haven't found that from an online perspective.
Wow. Feels like so much has become possible for you. I love that you use the word infinite possibilities. And that's really what I think too, is like create a business model that gives you those possibilities. It doesn't have a ceiling, that allows you to create and travel and have freedom and hire your family and do the things that really matter to you and just live the kind of life that isn't squashed by, I don't know, scarcity, society, things that you think you should be doing, and just creating your own life, making it up, whatever you want it to look like. And you guys are both such perfect examples of that.
Thank
So
you.
I just have one last thing that I want to ask you. What would you tell somebody who's watching right now and they're like, I think I want to join, but I'm not really sure. I think I want to create a course, but I don't know if I can do it. Like, what advice would you give to them if they're on the fence with this dream that they have?
To do it now. Literally, like, do it right now. I know that sounds so cheesy. I think I thought I had to have more things in place, more things figured out. And it was like, because I was in this place of running this one business, but then I wanted to grow Bucket List Bombshells, and you think you have to have the idea for the course already, and you think you need to have all these things, and literally like what you're signing up for is all the answers. So I think that's like immediately what holds people back. And if it's finances, I'm someone who like I like struggle so hard to invest in courses, and Shay's always the one pulling me, like she pulls me in the dark side on other things.
Dark side.
Yeah, the dark side. She's like, has like a million courses.
I just love courses because I love creating courses. So, and I'm like, I am not a hard sell type of buyer either. So there's lots of different types of buyers out there. And I'm just like, yeah, she says she can teach me this. Boom, I'm enrolled in your course.
I'm like that too.
I take forever. I read every email and watch every live. And I think that, so for me, one of the things too was finances. Like it was a big investment for me at the time. And I think what it ultimately came down to is like what our last question was, just like focusing on the possibilities. And I decided that was more important to me, like what I wanted. I wanted to work full-time in Bucket List Bombshells, and wanted to have this thriving community and students, and I wanted to teach full-time. And so once I kind of put that all into perspective, it was like a no-brainer. You know, now the finances like, I don't even know the return on that. It would be like just so insane. And so I think when you come from that perspective and focus on like what it is that you do want, remove kind of like the financial aspect of it and focus on what the possibilities are that you can create with this, it's just, these are all the answers that you're getting. And I think the private student community too is like an absolute game changer, because most likely, just like it was for us, we didn't know anyone else who was running successful online courses, right? That's why when we ran our first course, we felt like we were just this little floating island, like just throwing things, you know, like, I don't know, like maybe this will work, maybe this will work. Like there were so many times we sat down and we were like, I don't know. And so we just made a decision. And I think that by enrolling in the course and not just being able to like have a step-by-step process, but as you actually implement things, it's just human nature to have questions, and knowing that there's that support community from yourself and other people on your team to, you know, review your sales pages and like talk about messaging and just all these things. When you get into the nitty-gritty of it, having that support so you don't feel like you're creating this course on your own, I think is just an absolute game changer as well. So I would say like do it now. Stop watching the live, go enroll. Like it will literally be one of the best decisions. I think we've told you this before, like one of the best decisions we've ever made in our business was enrolling in your course, and other people need to do it too.
You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much. I just appreciate and love you both so much, and who you are, what you create, how you show up. I just thank you. Thank you for being here and just sharing your story too. It's so inspiring to me personally too. It's so inspiring.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on. It's been cool to go back down memory lane, and we're so appreciative for you. We never, I mean, sometimes we get the chance of people ask us about your courses and we're like, yes, go do it. But I love being able to like share our story and remember where it all came from, because it's been a really cool journey, and you've been like such a huge part of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Just checking out your comments. And by the way, if you have any questions for me about the Profitable Creator, the program, the bonuses, anything that you have a question on, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'm happy to answer it live right now. But I just want to do a little recap too of the past 7 interviews that I just did, because wow, I personally am so moved. I think I teared up multiple times, got chills throughout just talking to everybody who is on these calls with me. And they just have such amazing stories, and some things stood out to me. So I want to share them with you and see if maybe you picked up on some of these patterns and things that stood out throughout the interviews. But something that did stand out to me was what became possible for everybody after being willing to dive into the Profitable Creator, creating their own online course, and what lives look like now. And the main thing that I see is that life feels more possible. Like whatever they wanted to create. And you might have noticed if you've been here watching the interviews for a while that everyone's outcome was different. Like what they prioritized was different. For some people, it was now that they have this business, they could go travel for a month and not have to log on and work with clients. For some people, it was feeling like they were empowering their community instead of enabling them. For other people, it was hiring their mom or family member. For some, it was getting back to their craft that they've been wanting to do, but they didn't have the time or money to do it. And it's different for everybody, right? It's different depending on who you are and what you create and what matters to you. And I think that that is such a beautiful part of what it's like to run an online business, especially an online course business, because it just gives you such an opportunity to live in your values, to live the way that you want to live, whatever that looks like for you. Because so much of what we're taught is that we have to live a life that looks like this. Like it has to be the life is acceptable, the 9-to-5 life, the have a family life, the live in one place for the rest of your life. And it's like, you actually get to decide, you get to choose what your life looks like, but you do need something to support you in having and creating that type of freedom. And so that just really stood out to me about talking to all these people about their experiences with the profitable creator, is that they've been able to create the life that they want uniquely to them, whatever matters to them. So I want you to think about, if you're watching right now, what matters to me? What kind of life do I want to create? What are the things that I want to prioritize, that I want to do, that maybe right now don't even feel possible? But if I had an online business, if I was able to help a community of thousands of people, it would suddenly become possible. If I had an online course that I could sell over and over and over again, instead of needing to work with clients or go to a job in my day-to-day, what would become possible for me? What do I want to create in my life? Because it is so possible for you. Every single person that I just interviewed started at square one. Everyone starts at square one. And look at what they've been able to create, from $10,000 launches to multi-million-dollar businesses. Like, the sky's the limit. And we're the only thing that's standing in our way from actually creating the type of life that we want to live. So if you're interested in the program, go to theprofitablecreator.com. Enrollment's open for just a few more days, and you can learn all about the program there. You can read more success stories, learn all about the program, the bonuses, all the things. You can also, there's a little chat on the enrollment page as well. So if you have more questions that come up about the book, feel free to send us a message and we'll be able to answer that for you. And to answer some of your questions from the Facebook comments, I'm seeing some comments saying this is so eye-opening, super excited to dive back in the course. Yay. I want my husband to watch it as well. Yes, get your husband on board. Do I only open it certain times a year? Yes. The last time we opened the enrollment for live like this was last March. So it's been over a year, I think. So it has been a while. Awesome. Checking it out as you share about it. So cool. Well, let me know if you have any questions about the program. A couple other things that I just want to say before we sign off too, that I noticed from the interviews, is that creating free content for every single person that I interviewed was kind of the cornerstone of their business. And that's why I teach it the way that I do in the Profitable Creator. So I completely organic methods where you don't have to invest in things like Facebook ads. You don't have to hire anybody. I teach you the cheap way to grow a business, get started, to create an online course, because I don't think it needs to be complicated. I don't think it needs to be expensive. I think that if you just have a step-by-step method to follow and expensive tools to use, you can create a very successful business. But it starts with your free content. And that's why it's called the Profitable Creator, because you're creating your free content on YouTube, blog, podcast. And you might have noticed from the interviews that I did that everyone was creating content on different platforms. Everyone was either a blog or YouTube or some podcasts. And so what I think is really cool is that you can pick your content platform and then just create free value for your people. And that will lead you to eventually creating and launching a super successful online course. So if you're interested in the program, you feel like, heck yes, this is what I need, this is going to help me to grow my business, then visit theprofitablecreator.com and you can learn more and enroll. And like I said, it's only open for a few more days. And actually, we do have some bonuses that are expiring tonight at midnight. So I'm even going to share my screen with you for a second here and just show you those bonuses so that you can check them out. Before that was the video that's on the enrollment page. I'm going to show you the bonuses that are expiring tonight and just explain them to you real quick so that you are in the loop on what's going down there. So one second while I pull that up. And if you have any questions on the bonuses or anything, feel free to let me know. Okay. All right. So the bonuses that are expiring today are this one, The Untold Secrets of My 7-Figure Business. So This is about an hour-long masterclass where you're going to be learning the behind the scenes of how I've grown my business to 7 figures and beyond. So I talk about the people who are on my team, what they do. I talk about all the software that we use, every single one, and why we use them, what they do. I talk about our income streams and which ones bring in the most and the least revenue. I talk about the mindset shifts I had to go through in order to grow to 7 figures in my business. So this bonus masterclass is something you'll get when you enroll in the Profitable Creator if you enroll before tonight at midnight. And then the other bonus that's expiring tonight at midnight is this one, bonus masterclass, how to create value-packed free content to grow your audience. So I'm all about creating free content, but you might be wondering, well, what do I put in my free content? How do I title my free content? How do I make it super valuable so it stands out? This bonus masterclass, I think it's about 45 to 60 minutes as well, is going to teach you exactly what to put in your content to make it stand out, be unique, get people amazing results, and just really blow people out of the water and grow your brand and your online business. So these two bonuses expire tonight at midnight, but you'll get them when you enroll in the Profitable Creator before then. So just visit theprofitablecreator.com and you can learn more about the program. And then of course, there's all these other bonuses. One thing too, that a lot of people mentioned during the interviews was the Facebook group. We have a poppin' Facebook community, and that is no joke. It's very engaged. I have people on my team who are in there making sure that every question gets a response. And I am also going to be do live weekly coaching calls. So I'm going to do 2 per month. And then we're also bringing on a mindset coach who's going to be doing 2 per month as well to make sure you've got all of your questions answered. And that's just a part of being in the program. They are going to be happening indefinitely. So it's not something that happens for like a month and then you're done. We're going to be doing coaching calls frequently. So you're going to get a lot of support there. And then, of course, all these other bonuses. So theprofitablecreator.com, and you can learn more about the program and all the bonuses that you're going to get when you enroll. Awesome. Okay. And yes, Mary says, do you have some direction about using WordPress to set up your blog? Yeah, so one of the bonuses that you get when you enroll is the Getting Started Guide for Bloggers. So that does help you get started with setting up your blog and then going from there, how to set up your blog. So yes, there is some support around that. And then if you have other technical questions, you can always ask in our Facebook community. Like I said, it's super engaged. We aim to get back to everybody and give them a response within 24 hours or 1 business day. So you will have the support that you need there. Well, I appreciate you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope that it was clarifying in terms of figuring out if this program is right for you. And if you have any questions, like I said, feel free you can go on the sales page and click that chat on the right-hand side, and a member of my team will answer those questions for you. You can direct message me on Instagram. And if you do that, you can ask me whatever questions you have about the program as well. So there are a lot of ways to get your questions answered, and I'm here for you if you have a question about the program. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.